Good morning, everybody. Gabe Jenkins. Hope you're having a heck of a good day. I know I am. I'm here at school, uh, off of distance learning, but back in school for a day to record this video. We're starting just a couple of mini lessons here on what are called auxiliary views. So, what an auxiliary view is it's a kind of it's a helpful view and it's a necessary view. When you're doing a multi-view drawing, sometimes you can fully describe the shape using just the front, the top, and a side view. Sometimes, however, those three views are not going to be enough to fully describe what the shape of the object is. And that's what you're really trying to do with a multi-view drawing. You're trying to show what every single aspect of that shape looks like. And sometimes you can do it with three views and sometimes you can't. The main circumstance under which you would need to do an auxiliary view is in the case of something that is a diagonal plane. Okay, most of the shapes we've been focused on so far have had right angles, and it's just everything either goes front and back, or left and right, or up and down. And so, what we're talking about today is a diagonal. So the reason is this. So say you're looking at a circle, right? And when you're looking at it head on, you can see exactly what the shape of that circle is. But if you were to look at it, if it were tilted and you were to look at it from the side, you see that the height is the same, but the distance from the left to the right of the shape looks much narrower. It looks skinnier, right? Similarly, if we were to turn the diagonal this way, the width is the same from the left to the right, but the height from the top to the bottom looks wrong. And so if you were to try to describe the shape using regular multi-view and it were a diagonal like this, nobody looking at your diagonal would ever actually see what the real shape of this circle looks like. So the point in doing an auxiliary view is to be able to show somebody looking at your drawing exactly what the face of that object looks like. Okay. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to go over and I'm going to show you how to do an auxiliary view. All right, so we're back. And what you see in front of me is basically I just really quickly recreated the first assignment that I'm asking you to do today. So this should serve as a template for you to do a really good job on that first one. Okay. Um, so what we're going to need here, we're going to need a pencil. We're going to need a ruler or a triangle, right? So if you have your triangle, it'll probably be better to use your triangle today. If you only have a ruler, you're going to have to be super careful with it. It will also be helpful for you to have your compass, but it's not totally necessary. You will need to be able to accurately measure some widths. Okay. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a shape that from the front view would look exactly like this. Now I've drawn these hidden lines in here, and we've talked about hidden lines before, but hidden lines show you where edges are in an object if you can't see it from that side, from that particular view. So now you see here, there's a hidden line here and a hidden line here. When I look over to the right side view, what it shows me that, oh, this is where, so what we're looking at here would be a shape that would be kind of like an O, rectangular O shape with the center cut out. Now, from the right side, I can see that this center has been cut out. There's nothing here, right? But I can't see that from the side. From the side, all I know is that should be there. And so I would indicate this edge right here with this dotted line here, that hidden line, and this hidden line here lines up exactly with here. Now I did that using construction lines. And again, some of you have asked, why is it important to have everything perfectly lined up in your drawing? Well, this is why. It helps you to see exactly what you're looking at, okay? Now, when I look at this drawing, what I'm seeing is that there's a long diagonal line, right? And so that means that from the front view, it looks like this. But if I were to rotate this object this way, what's really coming, what I would really see from the right side, it would just look like this rectangle. But in reality, this shape comes up off of the plane of the paper, right? So this is a weird kind of triangular shape. Now, the situation I got here is that this is a foreshortened shape, right? This is a shape where it's actually looks much shorter than it is on the real thing, because again, the shape itself it's on a diagonal. So it's like if the diagonal is here, right? Looks like that. And from the side, it looks short. But I need to describe what the real shape of this side looks like. And in order to do that, there's a couple of really simple steps we need to do. I'm going to start off with my triangle. And the reason why the triangle is good, I need to draw a series of perpendicular lines from every important point off of this right here. And so the triangle helps me to line up this line right here with a perfect 90-degree angle. So I know that if I draw a line from here, it's going to be perpendicular. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to start off drawing a perpendicular line that goes up from here, line up this on the bottom with this up here, and going to draw my line. Okay, I'm going to draw pretty light. Now I'm also going to do one from the bottom. I'm going to flip my triangle over, line it up again. I'm going to draw another line. Okay. I'm also going to do it off of all of these little spots where the hidden line intersects with my diagonal line, because those are important lines to draw too. I'm drawing these lightly. And one more to go. Make sure that this is lined up. All my lines are going to be nice and parallel, or perpendicular. Perpendicular to the diagonal line and parallel to each other. Okay. So I've drawn those lines and you can see them there. I now need to draw one more line that's going to start. And what I'm going to do is I'm trying to draw what this shape would look like if I were looking at it straight on. So I'm going to draw a line that is parallel to my underlying line. That looks pretty parallel. All right. So here's my next step. So what I'm drawing right now is I'm drawing what this shape looks like over here, but it's going to show what it looks like if you were to look at it fully face on, right? So I know that the width here is not going to change when I draw it over here. So this is where I might use my compass, right? So I'm going to measure, I'm going to see exactly how wide this shape is. So I use my compass. I could use a ruler too, that's fine. Use my compass to just measure this specific distance, right? So I know it's from here to here, it's this wide. So now I know that from this point here, which is this line right here, is going to represent this line right here. So I know that from here, it's going to be this wide, okay? I know the same thing on the bottom. The bottom doesn't change at all, right? So now I know those 2 points and I can connect them with my straight edge. Okay, cool. So at this point, I now have 2 of the lines drawn. Make this one darker so everybody can see it. Going to connect this with this, and this is going to be the top of my shape. And the bottom of my shape. Okay, so done most of it. I still have to figure out exactly where this center rectangle is though. And so for that, I need to measure a couple more things. So I'm going to take my compass out, make it nice and small again. And I'm going to measure how far is it from the edge, which I already know is here, to that inside box right there. So it goes from here over to here. It is that wide. So the width should not change when I do this. Okay, and I also know that it's the same width from here to here. So I'm really just using my compass to transfer width measurements. Okay. And now I'm going to use my straight edge one more time to line this up and draw those final lines. Connect that to that. That to that. Drawing these, as you can see, I'm drawing them more darkly because they're object lines, and I need to be able to show that these are not just construction lines that helped me figure out where the shape is, but these are actually what the object looks like. All right, so with that, I'm now done. So what I've created here basically is this is the front view, this is the side view, but if I were to be a person with an eyeball up here, looking down at this face right here, this is the shape I would see. It would be longer than it is here, like taller from top to bottom, because this has been foreshortened. But the width from left to right is the same, and I see that here. And in order to capture the widths, I use the compass to make sure that none of the widths changed. And in order to capture the correct height, I use my triangle to create perpendicular lines off of all of the main points. So that's what you guys are going to be doing today, and you're going to do it with 3 different shapes. And I hope it goes really well for you. All right. Have a heck of a good day. We're going to get a couple practice. These turn out to be pretty easy once you get used to doing them. The first few, first one, second one should be easy for you. The last one might pose a little bit of a challenge. They get a little bit more challenging, but the basic process stays the same all the way through. I hope you have a heck of a good day, and I will see you later.